Hello and welcome to another live session with Jessica. I will give everybody a minute to pop on here and answer all your questions and help you out the best I can with everything Tunisian. Yay, everybody's starting to come on. So I've seen a lot of people's practice pieces being posted and absolutely am loving it. Hi Melinda. Hi Erica. My phone is super sensitive today, so anytime I touch it, it's like all over the place. Hey Bonnie. Everybody's starting to pop on. Okay. I know that we constantly have new members, so I am going to do an overview of the hooks in a video in the group, and that way we can tag people in the overview. I'm basically going to go over all the hook sets that I have and how they work and what I think of them, and it's going to have the fixed hooks and the cabled hooks and the brands and what I think of them, and how they worked and what was the downside to each set. I know that different hooks work for different things, so I will also be putting in there whether they are inline or whether they are tapered. Hi Sharon. Hi Debbie. So we're going to be adding that. Erica and I had a few family things come up this last week that were completely unexpected. Hi Lisa. And so we did not get the event set up, so actually I'm going to get with her and we're going to set it up. Now I know once it's set up everybody's going to have like a million questions, but what we're going to do is we're going to set the event up, and once you set it up, people can come in and they can post, and you can't really set up an event and not have it so that people can post until you get everything set up. So it's probably going to take at least a day or two for us to get all the information in, so please bear with us and have we appreciate your patience while we're setting it up. And I know there will still be members that are going to be like, hey, when's this going? I can't find the information on it. Those posts we will answer and then let them set for a little bit until we know that the person who posted it got to see the answer, and then we're going to delete it. So that way in the event, we're always going to have the flyers that say like questions and, you know, your information for the yarn you're using, what size hook we're using, what brand yarn we're using, and then we're going to have the pattern information. So each one of those will have a flyer. So I don't know how many people are familiar, but in any of the Facebook groups or even the events that you're in, if you go into it, even our group, if you were in our group right now and you went to the top of the page, there's the little magnifying glass. If you hit that magnifying glass, it'll give you the option to search, and you could type in anything from like videos or anything, and it will show you exactly what you're looking for. So that'll help you search things in the group, and the event will be shared in the group, and I will put the event in with the practice information that we did, so that way it'll stay up toward the top with the announcements, so that way people can refer to any of the videos or whatever. It'll all be there, but it's all going to go in the event as well, and that way if you guys come into the group and you're like, oh heck, where in the world was that event at, that link will be there. So all you guys got to do is, you know, select it and pop into it. And that way the link for the event will be here. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Linda. And that way everybody can find the event easily, because I know a few people say, you know, hey, I am technologically challenged. And I know there are a few of us like that, and in some ways I am as well. I know it's shocking, but I don't know it all. So, I have seen everybody's practice pieces, and they are coming out absolutely fantastic. For those of you that are just joining us, that are new to the group and are not familiar with what's going on, we are going to be doing a Tunisian cowl. The Tunisian cowl that we're going to be working on is going to be a shawl. Your shawl will be based upon the height of the customer or you, or whoever you want to make it for, or you can make it an average size. And most people that answered the cowl are about 5'6" to 5'8". So if I was going to make one, I would make one about 5'8" if this was not going to be for me. This is worked. We're working it longwise, so we're going to have more rows. But I thought that this would be easier because the rows are shorter. And I know so many of us take our projects out on the road with us, and it is easier to be out on the road and do a short row than it is to do anything else. Nobody wants to do, like, the length of this would have been like, you know, if you're tall, it would have been 6 foot, so that would have been like 380 stitches with this DK weight. So nobody wants to throw it in their bag and then they got to count, oh, the doctor called me back, now I got to count 300 stitches again. So that's why it's being worked this way. And mine is going to definitely need blocked, but this is going to be our beautiful border, and that's the Tunisian slanted stitch and the Tunisian simple stitch, and then the inside is the Tunisian knit stitch. And I know mine's curling because it's been thrown in a bag, but this is going to be the shawl that we're working on. And like I said, it's rectangular, so this actually, when you put it on, it will actually fit up so that you can put it around your neck a little bit, because I know so many of us sit in the air conditioning during church or events and you get chilly, and this is lightweight enough that it will be perfect for that, but it will be also nice and warm enough for, you know, fall and spring. So, goodness gracious, there we go. So anyway, this is what we're working on. This should be about 28, 29 inches with what we're doing with the DK weight. And then to, once you block this, it will grow, but it will not grow a lot. Do not get with your steam and get aggressive with this, because you will melt your stitches. We will do a blocking video, and for those of you that are unfamiliar with blocking, we are going to do 2 different methods. One is going to be just warm water in a spray bottle so that you can spray block and you don't have to worry about melting anything if you're really worried, because I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I just put 2 months of work into this and the iron or the steamer got too close and ruined what I have, so I can't even sell it, I can't do anything with it. And I don't want it for myself because I worked it up in a color that I wanted for a customer. Becky said, I wish I had time for the tea cow. Very pretty, Jess. This tea cow, Becky, like I said, all of our are going to stay in our group. This is going to be in here for like 2 years. So nobody has to feel like, oh my gosh, I got to hurry, or if life happens, they are not going to have time to finish this. So this is going to be something that's going to be in for a while. Most of the people that completed the poll said they are going to have between 3 and 4 hours a week to work on this. So, the way that we're going to do this is we're going to put the math in for how many rows you need to do based on your height. And then we're going to figure out how many rows, you know, it takes in about an hour, and then we'll post that many for that week. We'll post it weekly. You do not have to keep up. Do not feel like I only have 1 or 2 hours. I just can't do this. Because that's not the way that it's going to be. It's going to be up for 2 years. You do not have to complete this in the amount of time allotted, and then get stuck paying for the pattern and missing out on something. That's not how we're doing this. Hi, Amy. Hi, Angela. Hi, Becky. So, yeah, nobody needs to panic and be like, oh my gosh, if I'm not done in 8 or 12 weeks, then I'm not going to have time to do this. So that's what's going to be perfect for this. Bonnie said I'm a slow crocheter, so that's good. And that's the reason too, isn't, you know, most of the people that completed the poll said they have 3 or 4 hours a week to work on this. Not everybody is going to have 3 or 4 hours a week. Some people are going to be able to work on this much more because they're retired, they don't work right now, they're a stay-at-home mom and dad's working, or, you know, maybe they hit the lottery and they're rich and they can sit home all day long and crochet. Whatever the reason that you get to stay home and work on it more, bless you. I wish that, you know, I could be that in many ways. But I'm probably only going to have 1 or 2 hours a week to work on this because that's all I'm going to have with my new business. So, Linda said, honestly, this is better for me to do than the entrelac. I just got frustrated with that. This one I am excited about. Thank you for posting the link to the steamer, Erica. Linda said, oh, that's my dream, hitting the lottery and retiring. It would be nice, but I don't play the lottery, so I can't win the lottery, so that's not going to happen here. Let's see, what else? A few of you did ask about the taking this with you. Yes, you were able to take this project with you. One of the things that was discussed in here about our projects is, yes, I have picked this up and I said this was thrown in my whip bag with a hook in it. I have this set on top of a bag right now, only because I did pick this up for a little bit today. When I store my project, if I was going to hop in the car and go somewhere, I would take this hook and push it all the way through. I would undo my cable. I would unscrew my cable, and then I would put on a stopper on this end. So now I will have a stopper on both ends, and my project will not fall apart. It will not fall off. And in the meantime of all of that, I don't have to worry about the grandkids got in the car and they stepped on my whip bag, which broke my hook, or my whip got left in my car and the humidity was high and now my hook is bent, or anything else. I also did see that somebody put a wire nut on their hook recently. I would be careful doing that, because if you you accidentally get this divoted and kind of threaded, it will not glide through the stitches like the tip needs to be. And that is super important for Tunisian, because you know, with a regular crochet hook, you're just going in and picking up stitches. So yeah, the tip being kind of messed up would bother it, but with Tunisian, you're constantly putting that tip in and sliding it down, and I do not want anything to happen to your hooks. So I do not recommend sticking things, anything on the end of your hook. If you are going to put it down for any reason, I would implore you to please get a stopper and put it on the other end. And Erica said the dog ate it. Yeah, that happens too. Oh, my puppy was, you know, my son or whatever brought over his new puppy, and oh, it chewed on my hook. So yeah, I don't recommend that. So anyway, there is a practice piece in the top of the group where it says announcements and all that. And this practice piece comes up, and it has all the videos for what we're doing. And Melinda said the cat took off with it. Yeah, I had that happen with the ball of yarn here not that long ago. My German Shepherd ate my blinds. Oh, I remember that. I seen pictures. It was bad. So anyway, we're going to be talking about that. There will be a video for blocking. There will be a video on blocking mats. Hi, Gloria. There will be a video on blocking mats. There will be 2 ways to block your project. One is going to be with steam. Going to be just wet blocking, because I know so many of you are uncomfortable with steam and you've heard horror stories, and you know, I had one of those horror stories happen to me, and so yeah, if you are uncomfortable, you do not iron on a normal basis, you are not comfortable with a garment steamer, wet block. Do not be afraid, because wet blocking, you're not going to hurt anything. Where if you use steam and you get too close or your heat's too high, you can project, you can lose the definition, and what happens is, instead of your yarn looking like it does right now with the stitches popped, you get too close, the yarn becomes very shiny and the stitches are very flat. And once you do that, you cannot fix it. So I'm not saying do not steam block. I am going to steam block mine, but I have steam blocked several things. And if you want to practice steam blocking, please take the practice piece that we did and steam block that first. And that's why I like the practice pieces, because if you muck it up, you still have a project that's, your project's still good. So, do we have any other questions so far? I know we have a lot of new members that just joined in, and like I said, we answer questions every week about the hooks here. So any of the previous videos for hook, you know, you can watch. But we will be doing a video on all of the hooks and everything else later this month. Linda says, when I wet block, I will have to invest in yellow caution tape and crime scenes to make sure my husband and son stay away, or there will be a real crime scene. Yeah, a lot of times when I block mine, I am fortunate enough to have a spare bedroom or my craft room, and I will block up here, and well, I'm not blocking up here right now because my craft room has become a absolute disaster lately. Everything that is craft related has just gotten dumped on my desk, so my desk looks like, well, for those of you that are about mid to late 40s, you'll know, the Fraggles had Madam Trash Heap. That's what my desk and the other side of my room looks like right now. I am absolutely beyond myself. I need to get it cleaned, but trying to find time lately has been, you pick your battles. So recently, work and family time has been my battle. I got to earn as much money as I can. Erica and I are getting together in North Carolina for our vacation in April, so happy birthday to me. We'll be at an Airbnb meeting with a couple people down there that want to meet up with us from the Tunisian Crochet group, and Bonnie said my desk is the same. Yeah, I would not show a picture in this group right now of the other side of my room. It is bad. And it's, you know, unfortunately, you know, the thing too is my home was built. Hi, Sissy. Okay. Do we have any questions yet? Has everybody done the practice piece, or have they started it that they're not having any issues with it? Has everybody been able to follow the videos okay? I know one of them, my son helped me film, and his hands were very shaky. So it looks like I filmed it during an earthquake. But, and somebody also asked me, do I need to do the practice piece to be able to do the tea-cow? No, the practice piece, the only reason we did it, it was not actually like a gauge swatch. It wasn't any of that. The practice piece was so that you guys could be familiar with the stitches. Because I know that there have been a ton of projects that have come out lately that they're like, oh, this is Tunisian beginner or Tunisian, um, you know, you really don't need to know a lot of Tunisian, and I tried to do one, and oh my gosh. I had to go back and forth to the videos and everything else, and it was absolutely terrible. Gretchen says, my only issue is tension. Um, yeah, Gretchen, I would do the practice piece. Your tension will come together. Is it mainly on one side, or is it just your tension overall? Because some people have issues with tension on the side that they're casting on, which for me, since I'm right-handed, would be the right side, or the tensions that are left side, which is the side that I'm casting off on. Linda said, I like that because it really helped me learn the stitches. Yes, I do like the practice piece because it gave everybody an opportunity. So when we start posting this in the group, I know we're going to get questions. This is a teaching group. I know we're going to get questions. They're going to be like, hey, I don't know how to do this, or hey, I'm having problems with that. And that's why this is a TCAL. This is why we're doing it all together so that we can help. But the practice piece will help you to learn the stitches, and that's why I said you do not have to do it in whatever, just do it in whatever yarn you had and work it up, and, you know, that way you're familiar with the stitches. Gretchen says, it seems like my piece is grows smaller. Are you maintaining the same amount of stitches, Gretchen? And there is a video in here for lifter, rider, yanker. It talks about tension. I would watch that. And if your stitch count is staying the same, what I would recommend is a lot of people, and I've noticed this since I teach locally, a lot of people will start a project and then they'll work on it. And then what happens is you put your project down, and when you put your project down, now all of a sudden you go and it's a new day. You've picked your project back up and you're going to work on it. And what happens is you're nervous and you haven't worked on this for a while, and you're trying to count and you're paying attention to the pattern, so you tend to crochet a lot tighter. So what I usually like to do is put a stitch marker in my first stitch here and complete a row with the forward pass and then the cast off. And then when you're done, that stitch marker, you know, since I started this row, my stitch marker would be in the end here. So then you start to pick up the next row and cast on and cast off. And when you were done, you would have this row complete. I like to take that row and go back down to my stitch marker and frog that whole row. And that's why I like the practice pieces too, is because if you frog that, or if you have a practice, up your Tunisian hook, do a row on your practice piece, and then pick up the actual project that you're working on. I find that it helps you when you first pick it up, especially for beginners, because you're so nervous and you're like, well, how did I do that stitch? What's going on with this? It helps you a lot to, it helps with the tension, especially when you're new, because you're trying to learn how to do certain things, or you're nervous because you're learning new stitches. And then you get in there and you're like, what was I doing? And then it becomes tighter, or it becomes looser. A lot of people will start tight and end loose, and some people will start loose, excuse me, and end tight. Linda said, yes, it helped me realize I'm a yanker and have really worked on it. Yeah, so a lot of times, you know, even now, if I'm learning new stitches, I have a practice swatch that's constantly going like this. And this isn't so I can practice different stitches and everything else. And when I'm done with it, I have an actual bag over here in the corner that has practice things in it. And all I do is pick it up and do a row or two of the new stitches that I'm working on, or whatever this pattern was, or whatever. And it helps you kind of get in the flow. And I found that helped with a lot of my students too, because some of them were picking up projects and going, you know, my stitches got a lot bigger, or this happened or that happened. And I learned this new stitch in my project went like this. So because they had started it and they were doing really good and they relaxed, and then all of a sudden they picked it back up and they noticed that it went in. So I do like the idea of a practice piece. And actually I did have one that was, I want to say like 25 or 30 stitches wide, and I would do it, and as I did it, it got long enough to be a scarf, and actually I just did a bind off and gave it to a homeless shelter as a scarf, because, you know, it really wasn't something I was going to sell, but it was something that there's no sense in frogging something that's 6 foot long and, you know, didn't really serve me a purpose, so I actually gave it to the homeless shelter. Hi Kathleen, hi Leela, hi Kim. So, do we have any other questions yet? And like I said, the practice piece, you know, you guys can keep that, and if you're new, don't, you know, you don't have to do the bind off and keep it that way. Don't do the bind off and just pick it up and add more to it, and when you're done you can use it as a table runner. You could use it for a kid's baby blanket, for their baby dolls. Angela said it helps me to practice first as I have arthritis, and the first row helps my joints loosen up, and that affects my attention too. Yes, I am the same way. I have arthritis in my thumbs pretty bad, and yeah, it sometimes I really need my hands to loosen up. Okay, so, let's see, what else? I have not had time to sit down with the swatch for the finger weight yarn, but I will get that done before we post everything up in the group. It will probably be one of the last things that we post in the event as we're posting it, since I do have everything else done. What else is going on? I try to end a forward pass, so when I pick it back up, I start on the return pass. Yes, some people like that, and some people, I like to end on the return pass, because then I can take my hook and cable completely out and just put a stitch marker in it. And the thing about that too is, I don't think I have any up here in the room with me. They sell these little beads, and they have like numbers or letters on them. So if you like letters better, you can go with letters. You can do numbers. I like to have, I went to the Dollar Tree actually, and I bought these little beads, and they say like 1 through 10, and they have letters as well. And I bought the big safety pins, and I actually will put a safety pin in my work, and then the safety pin has those beads, so it may say like I'm using an 8.5 millimeter, so the 8.5, so I know I'm using an 8.5 millimeter hook. Or if, you know, I've used my letter numbers up, then it'll say I'm using a J hook or whatever. So that, if you put your project away, you don't have your hook in it, people are like, how do you know what size hook? That's what size hook. I look at the little safety pin in there, and like I said, I did not spend a lot of money on the safety pins. You can get like 100 of them at the Dollar Tree for like $1. And those letters, you can get them super cheap too. A lot of times the Dollar Tree will have them. If they do not, Michael's has them, and Joann's has them in the bead section. They're super cheap as well. They're in where they sell like the beads and stuff like that for like jewelry making. Angela said appropriate cable length. We've had that question come up a lot. Your appropriate cable length should be between 1/3 and 1/2 of the width of your project. And the reason why is, as you're working and this is going to be hard for me to hold this up and do this, so I'm just going to do the Tunisian simple stitch, and then I will just frog this later. But as you're working, you want your hook to stay horizontal. So as you're working, what happens is your project comes out, but your cable hangs down. And if you have a cable that's super, super long, then what happens is it causes your cable to bend and will cause this cable to break. So this hook that I'm using in this project is a super, super cheap Wish set that I bought to try. And so this cable is like, I don't know, 36, 48 inches long. It's terrible. As I crochet, my cat grabs the cable and takes off with it. So, but anyway, if you keep your hook and your cable horizontal to your work, then when your work comes over and it comes down, it'll bend a little bit, but it won't bend significantly. Where if you have a super long cable on, you've got the weight of your project, plus you have the weight of your stopper, and it will really cause this to bend down, and you don't want that. So, you know, your work, the cable's only job is to hold the work while you cast on stitches, and to hold them while you cast off. That's one of the reasons too that I do not like to store my work with the hook in it, because if you store your work with a hook in it, it's easy for that cable to bend and break off. So that is why if I am working on a project like the one that I am working on that I picked up, I will take this cable off and put the stopper on, because the stoppers are flexible and they bend and you're fine. Linda said, thank you. The dollar store is my second home. Yes, and you can also order stuff online. It's a Dollar Tree as well. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to go there and shop. You can actually order it and go pick it up. So do we have any more questions? Is everybody okay with the swatch that we did? Does anybody have any questions about the videos? Are they okay? And like I said, later this month we will be getting the video up that's going to overview the hooks, the different sizes, the different kinds, and we're going to get that done. And so that will be up. I kind of was hoping that this shawl would use less yarn than it did for the DK weight, because I actually had a sock yarn I really wanted to use, but I only have, each one of them are only 222 yards, and I was not going to have enough. Angela said, Furl said 3 to 4 weeks for the Cruella de Vil hooks. Well, that's good, because I will be ordering them when they come out. Like I said, I ordered the not the king snake, I ordered the other ones that they have, and these joins, I was not super happy with them because the yarn doesn't slide over them as nicely as they would if you were doing regular crochet. I think it would be fine, but the yarn kind of got stuck on it, so I actually will be excited to get the other ones in. And I have seen a few people have theirs break where the joins are, but you know, the good thing about Furls is they do have a money-back guarantee. Melinda said, how many skeins do we need for a person who is 5'6"? Oh gosh, Melinda, I need my calculator for that, but 5 foot is what, 60 inches and 6 inches, so yeah, that would be 66 inches. You need a skein of the DK weight. One of these will get you 16 inches. So 4 skeins would get you what? 16, 32. 32 would be 60. 4. So 4 skeins, 5 skeins. 5 skeins you'd be able to do exactly 5'6". 4 skeins will give you 5'4". When you block this, it will make it just a pinch bigger, but I'm not sure how much because I have not blocked mine yet. So you probably could get away with a 4 skeins, but you know, 5-ish would get you exactly 5'6". When you block this, it's probably going to grow about a half an inch to an inch. So yeah, 5-ish. 4.125 skeins. Ha ha ha. Look at you being all mathematician tonight. And I know Erica's dying because she's like, oh my god, I'm terrible at math. If there's a math question, I'm asking Jessica. Okay, so for those of you that answered the question about how many hours you have to work, most people answered on the poll. The poll is still up in the group. We can actually bump that for anybody else that wants to comment on it. But so far, most people have answered that they have 3 to 4 hours a week to work on this. This is also going to depend on how fast you crochet and if you are familiar with the swatch. But I am actually going to time myself doing a row, and I am going to do it leisurely. I'm not going to be in there like crocheting super fast, but I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do a row, make sure all my stitches are right, and then I'm going to cast off, and I will figure that for how long it takes to do a row times the 4 hours, because some, you know, most people are like between 3 and 4 hours. So that way we'll release that many rows. Now, if you have done the practice swatch or the practice piece that we did, oh, excuse me, there's soda tonight. If you've done the practice piece that we did in the group, this is pretty much going to be brainless. You can look at this pattern and you're going to be like, I got this. So, because again, it's going to start with your cast on and cast off, or on and cast off row, which is your foundation, you know, your foundation row. And then it's going to consist of the purl row, which is the Tunisian simple stitch purl, Tunisian simple stitch purl. It's going to consist of that repeat. It's going to consist of the border stitch that we're doing, which is the Tunisian simple stitch, Tunisian slanted stitch. This will have an even number of stitches because your last stitch will be worked as a last stitch, and the stitch before that will be an odd stitch, so it will be a TSS. That way your edges will be super crisp and you don't have to worry about a pattern stitch and making it roll and any of that. And then after you do that, you will have 12, it works up to be 12 rows. And Erica bumped the poll, so please take the time to go into the group after this is done and post on the poll if you have not, because that will help us significantly. And then after you have the 12 rows, I do put a stitch marker in my beginning, the foundation row, not the chain. When I chain and I go to cast on, I put a stitch marker in that first stitch, because that kind of gets dropped down when you do your work, and that way I can put a stitch marker in that corner stitch, and then the purl stitch happens. I put a different color stitch marker in that, and then the first row of the Tunisian simple stitch, Tunisian slanted stitch, I put a stitch marker in that, so I can see those 3 rows very clearly. So when I'm done, I can count that I have the 12 rows, which is the foundation row, the purl row, and then 10 rows of the border. So when I start row 13, I know that that is the row that I need to start my Tunisian knit stitch. Bonnie says she's off to bed. She'll watch the remainder of the live tomorrow. Good night, Bonnie. I hope you have a good night. like I said, I'm going to get with Erica and find out what day we both have off. I know she's got things going on and I got things going on, and we have been like ships passing in the night lately. So do we have any questions? Has anybody had any issues with the practice piece that we did? Is everybody familiar with the stitches? Does anybody have any questions? Have they tried to stitch and can't get it to work, or anything like that? Hit Erica off. Yeah, I have not been off for... Hi, Robin. I have not been off for a while since this cleaning company started. I have been working some days 20 hours. So, okay, so now, everybody that has your practice pieces done, if we have any questions, please go under the post for that and ask questions. That post will be up in the group for the remainder of the TCAL. We will be getting that up and posted, and I am going to thank everybody in advance for their patience, because like I said, once we start to upload this, I know that there are going to be members that don't join us during the live and don't go in and watch the lives, or don't even know that we have live sessions. I know that they're going to go in and they're going to ask questions. We will answer them, and then we will made it out of here. We'll delete their post so that the group stays pretty much what it's supposed to be. There will be a flyer like there is in all of our events that has one for questions, one for progress pictures. Robin said, hey, made it really late. I keep trying to get in here. I know it's hard. Life's been crazy for a lot of us lately. So, I completely understand. So, yeah. The event's going to get set up. It's going to take us a day or two between Erica and I to post everything that we need to post and get on the same page and get all the measurements and everything else all in there, and make up the flyers for the questions and everything else like we have for the other ones. So I do appreciate everyone's patience, and like I said, I know that there are going to be members even watching this tonight that are going to ask questions, but we will, we will get this up. The event will be up for like 2 years. I think that's as long as you can leave it up. So don't panic that, oh my gosh, everybody said they got 3 or 4 hours a week to work on this, and I don't. You can take as long as you want, so don't panic. If there's any questions that you guys have, please, please, please ask in the event. You can even ask in the group, and we will help you. And if you are too embarrassed, you can always message one of our mods, me or Erica, and we will help you. Even if you need a video tutorial, we're here to help, and we will help you in any way that we possibly can. Do we have any questions so far? I think that the practice swatch that we're doing, I like the fact that so many people have completed it as a washcloth or whatever, a hot pad, whatever they wanted to do it in, and keep it that way, because then you're really familiar with the stitches. And this, like I said, then this is going to make this super easy, because I know I had another pattern and it had twisted stitches and stitches 2 rows below, and you needed to change color on this row and do this and stand on one leg and hop up and down and hold your finger in your left ear, and I just couldn't do it. So that's why I like this practice piece, because I thought it gave everybody an opportunity to really learn the stitches, and then they had an opportunity to work on the piece instead of going back and watching videos. And another announcement, Erica and I will be getting together in April. We will be in North Carolina at around the Biltmore Estates from the 15th, 16th to the 20th. So while we're together, we are going to work on getting the videos that we have in here uploaded to the YouTube channel, and her and I will be looking at some equipment for filming and a few other things like that while we're together. So I look I'm super excited about finally getting everything up onto the YouTube channel and getting it straightened out, because I know so many people do use YouTube but don't use Facebook. So I am absolutely ecstatic about that, and I'm so grateful for Erica. I can't even tell you guys. She's been a lifesaver, especially with everything going on, and she's got stuff going on, and all of our mods have been extremely helpful, and this has been fantastic. You know, I was wondering once I started this group and once I started this job, like, how am I going to be able to do this? And she has been a fantastic trooper through all of this, so I am super excited to go down for my birthday and actually get to meet and work on some things together, and, you know, share some wine and sit on the front porch of our Airbnb and put our hair down and relax. It's going to be nice. So, do we have any questions so far? Everything's good. Linda said, "We love you both. We're happy to help." And Angela gave her 2 glasses of wine, cheering. That'll be my speed for this whole thing. Robin said, "All left is wood burning your hook, then sealing it with special stuff. You're ready to hear his charge later." Yes, I am. I'm absolutely super excited. I did not post this to the group, but I probably will make a post about it when I know that it's on its way. I am getting a Tunisian hook that is going to be a novelty hook. It's like 5'6", which is fantastic because it's taller than me, because I am only 4'10". So this hook is going to look huge, and I'm so super excited to get it, and I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm beyond ecstatic about this hook coming in. So yeah. These plastic stitch markers, those hook things, or the letters I was telling you about, if you add a letter, these will actually fit on there. If you're adding the numbers and you need 2 sizes, that's why I use the safety pin, because if you put the little safety pin, or like if it's a 4.5, those 2 numbers do not fit on these without breaking them, so that's why I like the baby, the safety pins, because they're bigger. What else do we have going on? The Addy Click. We did have a question, and I did make a short video, and it's not so great, but it shows how to put them together and how to take them apart, because someone was having problems with it. The Addy Click, they have a spring in them, like a pen. If you've ever taken a pen apart, they have a spring system in them. So when you put the 2 pieces together, you need to put your end in, and then there's like a little divot on your outside. And when you have that divot, that's where your locking is, and I know that it's going to be super hard, but see that little teeny weeny divot? There we go. When you put your stopper in, you need to put the stopper in, and you'll feel it slide in, and you'll push, because you're pushing this spring that's on the inside. You'll push that in, and then you'll twist. Okay, now, that being said, when you push it in and you twist, and you let go, you can pull on it and it won't come apart. Now, for people that love metal hooks, these are fantastic if you love metal hooks. These are like 7 inches long. This is the longest hooks that I found out on the market that these are actually longer. The Addy, or not the Addy, but the Knitter's Pride and stuff like that are 6 inches. These are actually like 7 inches, which is nice. If you have arthritic hands, putting these cables and stoppers together is a little bit difficult. Until you've done it a couple times, it is a little bit hard. So that is my only downside that I think happens with the Addy Click. They do kind of smell like metal, but it's not like it's not bad. Angela said stitch markers are lifesavers. Yes, I like the stitch markers, and I like those pins because, like I said, I can put on here what size, with that pin, I can put on what size hook, and then when I take this and I put it in a bag without the hook in it, and I take it out 6 months from now, because we all know we have a bag of whips sitting somewhere that we take out, and we're like, oh, what size hook was I using with this again? I'm not sure. Don't make me have to frog this whole project because I don't know. Let's try this hook. Let's try that hook. Oh, the gauge isn't matching up. So, yes, we all have that, and that's why I absolutely love the pins, the safety pins with little thing on them, because they're super cheap, and for under $5 you could buy the safety pins, buy the ones with the letters, and you can, sometimes they have letters and numbers in a bag. You can buy them, put them in, and go with it. And I actually have it in my whip bag, so that way if I'm doing something that I started a new project, I actually can put the safety pin and letters on. So just one bag. Yeah, I have a couple whip bags. Like, you know, half a dozen. So anyway, do we have any other questions this evening? Because I'm going to get ready to wrap things up. Is anybody thinking about doing the T-Cal in a finger weight yarn? I will have the gauge swatch up for it, but the thing about this with the finger weight yarn is, like I said, it's going to take a lot longer to do it because Erica's laughing. It's going to take a lot longer to do with the finger weight because the hook size is going to be so much smaller. It's almost going to be like working with crochet thread. So, will it be worth it in the end? Yes, it will be absolutely gorgeous. The shawl will be stunning. Will it take a lot longer? Yeah, it probably will. It depends on how fast you crochet, but it's going to probably take about 500 rows to do it. So, maybe 600. So, if you all want to do it in finger weight, have at it. I am not to stop anybody's creativity because we all get a bug that are like, you know what, I think this would look fantastic. So we will have a finger weight swatch done. Like I said, I recently did one, and with a 3-ply, and it was too big. So I'm going to have to go down a hook size and get that swatch information in there. Sorry, I'm being attacked by my cat right now because my Tunisian cord's hanging down. Hi, Donna. Erica said, holy catfish, that's a lot of rows. It's a lot of rows, but like I said, I think, you know, it's one of those things that this pattern is mindless. All you pretty much have to do once you're familiar with the border and how to do the main section. The main section's pretty mindless, so as long as you can count and you watch your stitch markers for your border sides, then it would be great as a take-along project. You know, I don't really think that, you know, 600 rows is going to take any longer than it would for Graphghan. Because you're only doing, like, with the finger weight, I think you'd probably need like 200 stitches wide. I don't quote me on that because I didn't do the swatch yet. But like even with 200 stitches wide, with it being mindless, it's not going to take quite as long as a Graphghan because you're not actually counting out and changing colors. And I think that's what slows people down, is because you've got to change colors. You have to add bobbins. So, you know, the average Graphghan takes at least a half an hour to 45 minutes a row in that situation. Um, so, I think as a project in a whip bag to go back and forth to something, I don't think it would be bad. Angela said bag, more like a room. I may still be working on that during our vacation in 2021. No, you won't. Unless you're talking about the whip bags, then I will be working on whip bags still in 2021. Okay, guys, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. Please, like I said, I will tell you guys again, I do appreciate everyone's patience during all of this. The event will get set up. We will add the information. The flyers will get made up. Everything will pretty much go under a flyer. Do not feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to post something. I can't find that flyer. I can't scroll down far enough. Whatever. It is not, this event is not going to be run like some, you know, camp where everybody's watching over you. This is going to be, fun, and that's what I want this to be. That's what I want this whole group to be. I want it to be learning, and I want it to be fun. I want everybody to enjoy their time here. I want everybody to understand everything, and if somebody's got a problem, please ask. Don't feel like I'm just going to put this down and it's going to be in a whip bag and later on I'll just frog it because I don't understand that. Please come to us. You know, we can even do videos through Messenger. We can help you whatever way you want it. So, we're going to be offering written too. So whatever you need help with, please ask and we'll help you. I don't want to see people giving up on their projects because I know that I know that things are difficult, and I know that learning new things sometimes can be overwhelming and frustrating, but like Erica said, there's no Tunisian police here. We like to keep it fun and keep it simple, and that's what we're doing. So please, ask for help if you need it. Don't hesitate. We're always here. We're not on 24 hours a day, but if you ask us a question, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So, I hope that everybody has a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing you all in the event and in the group posting your magnificent work. Thank you guys for joining us this evening for our live session. You guys are what make the group great. So, have a fantastic night, guys. Bye.